Right, looks like we're live. So I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this stream today. I was out filming some stuff and had some other stuff to do. But like I said, it's got a couple hours before midnight, so I'm gonna try to maybe stream once a day for a while until I'm not sure until I think we get a bit closer to my N13 hearing. But yeah, tonight I guess I'll probably continue on my theme and I'll interact with chat for a bit, and then once the chat slows down, then I will probably work on the block mining simulation game. We got our first chatter already. Fireball Ferret says, good evening. How's it going? I guess the stream is probably still just starting up. Honestly, it's kind of amazing that I could just click live and then like within a couple of seconds there's people there. There's a lot of people on YouTube at all hours of the day. So I was going to update the counter. I think yesterday there was I raised about $70 for my toward my campaign for world domination. So I think the total for the last couple of days was around $80. I didn't have time to tally it up. I haven't actually gotten a lot of not many people have explicitly made a vote for what kind of content they want to see. But if you want to give your suggestions on or your preference on what you specifically want to see, then I'm happy to hear it. Wow, third consecutive streaming day. Yep, it's very impressive. I don't think anyone has ever streamed this many consecutive days before. It's probably a world record. Let's see. I guess we can let's see. Yesterday, I think I continued work a bit on. I found another issue with the build process, and I fixed that and pushed it. So that should make the build process a bit more robust. So the elusive simple build process I've been looking for has eluded me. I think I have some issues fundamentally related to how like Maven builds stuff. There's something about the Maven lifecycle process that I'm not I don't know what the standard accepted process is for like, I don't know, incremental compiling of multi-module projects with Maven is. I was messing around yesterday with Maven, trying to like changing around my the command that I use to actually build the project, to see if there's a way I can just get like one set of Maven build rules that I can specify. And that was when I realized, because on the machine I was using, there was two different versions, two Java versions installed. There was 17 and 21, and in the make file, I was actually picking up, when I invoked Java C, I was not fully qualifying the path of it. So it was picking up Java 21 there, but the project was on 17, so it was messing up the build process. But anyway, root cause that issue should not happen again. But I also need to figure out what I want ideally. I know how I would do it separately, but I would not like to have. I would like to just have one build, one button, instead of building three things to like do with the install process and so forth. No choice but going back to make files and auto tools. For the JNI library, yeah, there's a make file in there. I'm not sure if there's a way, an accepted way to get that pulled into to like convert that as like a Maven thing. But I think the accepted way is to like, you have some reference in the POM file. However, I'm doing it right now. And for some reason, this thing always doesn't show me. The folder's like not here. So I'm looking for the folder 0427. Where is it? There it is. It just appeared. It must be a bug. So I guess some of the last thing I was experimenting with was so I guess if I can figure this out on the command line, that I can get it to work in IntelliJ. Do you have a Steam account? Let's be buds. I have never used Steam, period. William says, hello chatters. We are so back. Because of this. This will probably work because probably the Maven the home directory Maven probably already has all of the yeah. Now if I do the following, this will probably probably not work. So it'll download the dependencies and then it'll complain and say that block mining simulator core is not found. If you were to drive a car, what car would it be? That's not really a question I think about much. I had a car in high school. I had a Ford Tempo. That was many moons ago. Having a car is a luxury nowadays. In this building, for any of the old residents, they're trying to charge them $250 a month, and some people gave in $250 a month just to park your car here. So this is expected. I don't know if any of you are Maven. If any of you are experts at Maven. So I have this Maven command. So I have to do, so it's in a multi-modules Maven thing. So I'm doing -pl. So that's the thing I want to build. And that says like build dependency projects. So I do clean compile package. And so I have to do, because it's a Spring thing, I have to do Spring repackage, Spring Boot run, and then that runs it. Now if I remove this, then it'll do that for all modules. And then I could add install, but if I want to do install, then I think that'll correctly install it. It installs it for the dependency package, the block mining core. But then I'm not doing the Spring Boot repackage. Yeah, I can't run it. So basically I want to do I want to have one Maven command to tell this package to build. But Maven's a dependency tool, so I would hope there's some way to I googled a bunch. It doesn't really seem to be I was not able to find any references. Basically what I want to do is I want to specifically build this thing, but then I want to have it go and figure out that there's a dependency module. And then build, but I'll install that as a dependency. So that way I don't have to build 3 different things. I have a car. A car is the cheapest part of owning a car. Mitsubishi EK wagon. Ford Tempo. Is the internal time zones library at Ford. Is it? Interesting. What is block mining simulation game? I guess I have quite a few. If you check a lot of my past live streams, I have you can see lots of demos of it there. I'll probably play it at least once this stream. I also have a better, kind of more polished video on it. If you search my channel for Linux terminal Linux game, I think you'll find a decent video on it. Do you still hold a driver's license? Yes, I do indeed. Ford Tempo greater than Mercury Topaz. I guess I don't have a strong opinion on cars. Java C, some of us call. JVac? Is that wrong? I'm not quite sure why you would break that up. Java C is just the compiler. I would assume it stands for Java and then C for compiler. So I guess none of you are Maven experts. I haven't heard any statements about Maven. Yeah, so I did a whole bunch of Googling about this, and there might just be no way to do it. It's cool when someone in chat just knows exactly the answer to the question. That's happened a couple times. I guess, you know what, maybe we should use some AI for this. Probably won't bother put that on stream, but gonna be honest, I thought that command was nvm at the start until you said Maven. Yeah, I guess maybe it's an NVM. Is that like a node, some kind of node package manager thing? They might have been modeled after Maven, probably. Have you tried Cloud? I have not. Node version manager. Yeah, I've tried to stay away from JavaScript, so I'm out of the loop on Java building or JavaScript building. So this will not work. Let's see if it breaks in the way that I expect it will. And it did. That makes sense. this will probably also break. Third-party node versioning for npm. Interesting. TypeScript is good. I spent maybe a couple days learning TypeScript, as I thought I would have to learn it for a project, but I ended up not. That was that project where I ended up switching to the back end work. And then the project ended. Not a fan of Gradle instead of Maven. Maven was just the first thing that I learned, and I know it's another thing that I have to learn. It's I want to just learn. I wish there was someone in tech who would just like figure out what is the best thing, and then force everyone to learn that. I hate how there's these alternatives. But yeah, I guess pretty much every project that I've needed to work on has just used Maven, so I'm like, all right, I'll just use that. I thought CMake is mainly for C, C++, Objective-C. I've never used CMake, so I can't really comment on it. If you switch to Python, the equivalents of Maven are better in my opinion, because you can generally do stuff like building dependencies with nested recursive dependencies, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, that's like figuring out recursions, like anything to do with figuring out the dependency graph and any kind of like, issues with like cyclic dependencies and stuff. That's the entire point of a dependency manager. And honestly, I'm very disappointed in basically all dependency managers. They seem to be done like there's enough thought put into them, just enough to get them to basically work, and very little beyond that. Because I kind of have a feeling the thing that I actually want to do is not possible in Maven. Let's see, will this work? Like EK, if it will make life easier. Scream at computer till Maven works. I could try that. Robert gets his slow tempo from those slow forward tempo days. Failed to execute cold run. So that makes sense because it probably ran. And this is what I wanted. So that's the error that I added. I think I added that yesterday. So now, instead of silently hanging and looking like a deadlock, it will now throw an exception. So to fix that, now I can go into Maven options, emulate terminal. Python dependency. I don't know much about Python dependency management other than like a virtual env and stuff. Virtual env and pip. Poetry. Is that Poetry the name of a dependency manager? I've not heard of it. Okay, the game is working in this environment. Now, actually, one of the things that I wanted to make work next So I should not need to run this in the ASCII mode. You seem like the ideal tenant. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty decent tenant. Yeah, I would say it's it'd be hard to think of a better tenant. I guess probably some old people would be better tenants. Now, the next thing I wanted to fix is when I move around, you can see that weird glitch on the screen. And I like to figure out why that happens, because it's yes, Poetry is dependency manager and packaging tool. Interesting. Is it just for Python, or is it for other languages? By the glitch, do you mean the flashing border tiles? So what's happening is as I move around, so where the log was, that should just be dark. Like there should not be no. It looks like it's rendering like a null character or like an empty or something. So I don't know. There must be mismeasuring something. So it basically makes the whole UI unreadable. And my guess is that has something to do with like the width detection, probably. Let me think here. Oh, we got our first contribution for the World Domination campaign tonight from Samuel Sebo. Sends 99 cents. Thank you very much. and that's your first super on a live stream. Do you have any votes for? Let me pull up the. Oh, it's already open, I guess. Yeah, so if you want to vote for something, for what kind of focus on content. So I have the Linux short series. I've been doing. Someone else requested the cinematic YouTube shorts. I might do at least maybe a couple of those. I can probably crank out those quick. I could do more IRL live streaming, do more coding live streams. I could do the semi-script long form. The long form takes a long time. Of course, I can also do more. What I want to do is the more of the Linux content. But if that stuff doesn't bring us in as much money, and but the other stuff can subsidize that. That must be, I bet that's the problem. I think I have somewhere in my code where I'm making an assumption based on like how wide these frame characters are. Okay, so that's the measurement of how wide the characters are inside of the IntelliJ UI. Let's exit that. Actually, I can probably just run the jar. So it looks like the frame characters are the same width. My sort didn't work. So at 1, the rock has a width of 1. So in the terminal, the rock has a width of 1. And in IntelliJ, it has a width of 2. Now the question is that related to the problem? I think it might be. Because I think I have some code that relies on it's for a reference, it relies on the width of the frame characters. That might be a recurring error. Robert, do you plan to travel to the US with the current situation? I have no specific necessity to move to travel to the US. Personally, I don't really think there's I don't think it would be that difficult to go there. Like when I went through customs years ago, that was also still like when I went down there for my J1 visa. I did 3 internships in the U.S. And even back then, that was like, you know, customs and immigration is not a you know, it's a serious endeavor. You have to like make sure your paperwork's in order, and like expecting you're gonna have good answers to your questions, and you gotta have your paperwork in order and stuff like that. So that's always been an issue. I think a lot of the existing issue has been definitely elevated in the news as of late. I think they probably are clamping down. Like, you know, there's probably like people going on for tourism and stuff like that are probably at elevated screening, but it's probably not anything super crazy. It would be a bad time to go, I think, if you don't pay attention to your paperwork and like you try to go, like if you don't follow their instructions and stuff like that, then I think you're inviting a lot of problems right now. Let's see, what is that? I see your icons there, William. Just the pink hand, and then a person with headphones. Interesting. Are those emojis, or there's also I guess you can also send stickers or something, but I think those are the bigger things. Those are probably just emojis, I guess. I don't know. I don't know their meaning. Let me think. Messages are getting blocked. Don't come to the US. This country's been on a roller coaster ride down. Well, I don't think things are much better up here. What were your messages about? Are they about immigration? What's stopping you from getting a job, though? I mean, it's a complete change in career and life trajectory. The time to have gone down to get a job there would be, it was like in the boom time and get a job at Amazon or something like that. Like it's not like you can go down there for like 6 months and make a bunch of money. It would basically be to make it worthwhile. It would have to make it at least a 10-year commitment, and then I have to go down there. Basically, I have to the plan would have to be to leave the country permanently for the rest of my life. And I think at this point it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I have stuff. There would be massive logistics involved. The small amount of family that I have is up here. So as they get older, if I needed to come back, if there's a family emergency or something, I'm not in the right country. So it's just, I think I'll stay put for now. And even, I'm also too old to work in tech now. There's an army of young people now. Oh, and not to mention the immigration is also, I'm competing with a much, much larger labor pool now. Just like stuff. I think it's either me, use a term like dog poop, and saying the T name. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of random what it censors. I've thought about it, and I think I'll probably so what I can do is I can change top chat to live chat, and then it doesn't censor you. But I think as a rule for my chat, this way, sometimes the chat, the auto top chat, actually moderates stuff that should be moderated, but sometimes it also moderates other random stuff. But because I put the chat in the video stream, this way you can have feedback on what you're being censored on. And I think that's actually in the realm of knowing they're being censored is a pretty big step toward empowering yourself to resist censorship. I haven't programmed in Java for quite a while. Oh yeah, if you haven't, I guess the second most popular, that would be the 37-year-old broke loser one. Yeah, that one would probably explain all my thoughts on the situation. Canada, glad the YouTube algorithm led me to your channel. Yeah, it's also part of it is laziness, but I also thought the more I think about it, the more if you're going to get censored, you might as well know that you're being censored. And it's also there are people come in like spam and stuff like that. This way, with the auto sends it. I guess the as long as some of your messages get through, then at least there could be some communication. But I guess if someone comes here and they keep trying to chat, and then they can never get through anything, at least they'll know about it. Looks like we're stepping into the Matrix, or maybe that cyberpunk dystopia we read and watched about. Yeah, that's why I got the theme of it, the lighting theme. Soft drink of choice. I don't know. I like to keep lots of different flavors around. Change things up a bit. Dr. Pepper's good. If I want to be more healthy, I'll have tea. Tried strawberry cream Dr. Pepper. Huh. I've never heard of that. I don't think I've ever even seen it. I have work tomorrow. That's rough. I mean, you can always follow in my footsteps and become a 37-year-old broke loser. And then you can make terminal-based video games. What do you make of all the buzz around newer programming languages like Rust and others? Rust, I have no interest in learning Rust. I know people talk about it a lot, and they're very evangelical about it. I find that it's just too much stuff to focus on. Learning a new programming language at this point for me is very low on my priority list. Okay. So they both consider a space one character. Okay, that's why. So I guess I'm just defaulting it. So I think this may be the root cause of the problem. So the way I'm basing the length is based on iron oxide. Let's check. Those both have width too. I use C# in numerical analysis and combinatorial mathematics as a hobby thing. Interesting. Combinatorial mathematics. Is that like a hobby thing, or is there a work use case for that as well? area cell width is 2. Okay. Huh. Mathematics as a hobby. My original plan was to study pure math when I came to university, and then I thought, I should solve the Riemann hypothesis, and then I eventually decided, you know what, maybe I'll do software engineering. Job prospects are probably better. So I thought this might be the problem, but I don't think it is anymore. Maybe it's not related to padding. That's pretty annoying. Could it be a bug in how the user interface updates? Solving the Riemann hypothesis. Theoretical framework for solution isn't yet established. I guess numerical analysis seems to prove it so far. Yeah, it's and I've always just been interested in like what are the biggest problems. Yeah, the Riemann hypothesis is interesting. I don't know. I mean, everything I know about it I learned like years ago, but that like deep relationship between prime numbers and the Riemann hypothesis, I think is pretty interesting. I mean, in another lifetime, I would have become a mathematician and spent time on that, but there's a lot of interesting things that you could spend your life on, but only so many hours in a day. So this should do more updates. So it's way slower, but I should get a more like accurate print. Still going. Okay. Interesting. That is very interesting. So that fixed it. So that implies that there's some kind of bug with the like print updating. Because basically when I just say like always print all MapArea updates, yeah, and it's totally fixed. But it's incredibly slow, so not quite good. Mathematics as academics always depressed me because of that joke that like mathematicians' career really kick off when they're 70. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, I guess if any of you are interested in mathematics, you've probably seen the documentary about Andrew Wiles and solving Fermat's last theorem. Like that'd be a great accomplishment of your career. But imagine like working your life on that and then not solving it, and you just you spend your life creating a pile of paper and you never really prove anything. Certain theoretical breakthroughs in analysis might be necessary to fully address the Riemann hypothesis. I know there's but it's called like the Chebyshev counting function. It's like an infinite sum over all prime, so some kind of infinite Fourier transform over all prime numbers or something. The fact that that is seems to be able to see what was the relationship. I forget. It was something about where the location of the Riemann hypothesis was the analytic continuation of the Riemann zeta function has all non-trivial zeros. The real part of all non-trivial trivial zeros is 1/2, or is it negative 1/2? And there's something like that. the Fourier transform overall. Yeah, I forget about it. It's been a long time since I looked this up. Okay, so that made it slow, but that fixed the problem. So let's do this. And actually, now all this like slow compiling and stuff is one of the main things I wanted to avoid with an IDE, but I guess it's unavoidable. Okay, it's fixed. Interesting. Oh, look, it's actually kind of weird. Huh. You can kind of tell, but some of the rocks like messed up. That might be why there's some rendering errors. Selecting text makes it move. Yeah, it's a pretty limited display we're working with here. Yeah, you can also see those. That's really okay. So that's where those like weird characters were coming from. I haven't ventured to address the Riemann hypothesis using C#, but I've explored combinatorics. Rubik's cube configurations, Parker squares, non-transitive dice. Yeah, I've I mean, of course, I always think about like what's the biggest problem, and try to spend some time on that. The concept of trying to find a polynomial time algorithm for solving the 3 satisfiability problem. That's a pretty interesting one. Because I thought about that, and you can kind of reduce it down to actually a question about so the whole idea is like if you can find a polynomial time algorithm to solve the 3 satisfiability problem, then you proved that P equals NP. because it's 3SAT is an NP problem, and you can do a polynomial time transformation to take any NP problem and transform it into any other NP problem. I think I said that right. And you can reformulate 3SAT into a problem of you have a polynomial number of regions of space, and you want to ask the question like, do they completely fill and occupy a certain region of space? And it almost seems like somehow you should be able to do that in polynomial time. Like maybe by sorting them first in some clever way or something. Or like splitting some of them up. But then when you dig into the problem, it gets like very combinatorial. All right, how am I going to fix this rendering issue if I'm even going to? Huh, look at that. Yep, that's why it's messed up. How you feel about election day tomorrow? I feel nothing. I'll see what the results are. I think the polls are saying that Carney's still in the lead. So I don't know. It'll probably be him. And then we'll have like some constitutional crisis or something. Non-transitive dies, or set of dies with non-linear win relationship. Similar to rock, paper, scissors dynamic. My thought was to explore their potential in RPG. Non-linear win relationship. You're indifferent to it. You are abstaining from voting. I'm going to vote tomorrow. I wonder if this is... Oh, look at that. The currency changed on the chat revenue. For anyone who's here last time, I mentioned that I noticed that the currency, if you look over in the chat revenue, YouTube just randomly changes it. Sometimes it'll put a CIA in front of it to indicate that it's Canadian dollars. And then it'll like randomly go away and it goes back to being expressed in US. And I have no idea what controls that. I guess it's just random. This might have to do with like the order in which things are printed. cool product. There are probably 500 outgoing A/B tests that everyone forgot were running. Yeah, that would be kind of funny if that's what it is. I'm not aiming to be political here, but I believe I understand your perspective regarding voting and reasons behind your hesitation. As I said, we are all stepping into the matrix. I'm not sure what you mean about hesitation. I said I am voting tomorrow. Let's see here. I remember there was an issue with in GNU Screen. I remember there was an issue where if I drew to the terminal backwards, it would render properly, and I wonder if it's like the same kind of issue thing. Kind of a not necessarily an important case to consider, but it'd be nice if it just like worked everywhere. Looks like I probably got some bugs in there. Yep, I would say so. Interesting. That might be the root cause then. It's just, oh no, that's totally messed up. So that did not fix it. It's something to do with, I'm actually not 100% sure what the root cause is. If I just tell it to always update all the blocks every time, there's no issue. But it might be, there's some like terminals that are not good, like a GNU screen, for example. You can't, if you can't really print emoji characters, like they're not really supported. So like you can print if you use a cursor position request to move the cursor to a certain offset on the screen. So let's say you like move to position 10, x equals 10, print something, x equals 8, print something, x equals 6, and so forth, go down by 2. You can get a different result than if you go the other way, which technically shouldn't make any sense. If the concept of a cursor position is static, so the order in which you print stuff to the screen can change how far along it is. So and that's basically just due to like bugs in GNU Screen, because it doesn't support emoji, or it doesn't support like emoji characters or characters that are wider. So it might be that kind of problem, but it also could just be a bug in my system. Are emojis not mapped to a Unicode standard? I don't think they didn't think they had issues with spacing. No, they have tons of issues with widths and spacing. I actually have a video. I think it's called terminal-based video game development, and you can and actually have an accompanying blog post where I write some Python scripts and stuff like that to demonstrate that there's lots of issues with Unicode. And I mean, some Unicode characters, if the font's not installed, then you'll get like a weird, you'll just get like a weird rendered, nonsense or something. And so there's no way to predict how wide that is. And there's like a utility function for coming back with values, but there's like hard-coded values in it, and depending on which version of I think it's called the VTE car width or something. But it's one of those things that's, every version the width of stuff can change, and it's inconsistent. Encoding issue? I don't think it would be an encoding issue here. If it was an encoding issue, I'd expect to see some like malformed. It actually renders the emoji, but when I move around, it's putting characters that aren't supposed to be there. That's why I only like ASCII. Yeah, it seems like kind of an irrelevant thing to focus on, but it's so close to working. I'm going to see if I can just get it, if there's like a one-line fix to make it work. It almost seems like it was adding like some like phantom characters after like that little symbol I was seeing in the IDE. Yeah, that thing was like adding those. Like when I select that, it's kind of small, but when I select that, you can see that there, even though it's not there. There's another one there. Interesting. It might just be kind of like a weird bug or incompatibility with this. Like, this is not a real, it's emulating a terminal. But I mean, it's kind of impressive that it works as much as it does. But there also may be like a more general bug that like exists in some terminals. Let's see. I can't think of an easy way. So when I force updates on everything, it's not an issue. I wonder if it does have something to do with the order in which things are printed. Buffering issue? That's what it would be. It could be something like that. Like in basically my buffering, because that's basically what this thing is doing. It's like checking for changed flags and stuff. But I can't think of why it would only appear in this circumstance. It's not a lot that's different. Need to think about like an experiment that I could do to figure it out. Flushing, console flushing. There are some console flushes in here somewhere, I think, but those would definitely be happening at like a later stage. They would have to be happening at least once, otherwise there would be no. I wouldn't see other kinds of updates. This is another character that's not supposed to be there. Oh, it's a car. Or you have a motorbike. Let's do something interesting. Yeah, I thought there was like something, a fan rubbing up against something. Didn't even know it was a motor at first. I thought it was maybe my computer fan dying again. Now, do you live among the French Canadians? No, I don't. I did French immersion when I was in school, but since I graduated, I've not used any French at all. Okay, this made the width of characters 4 wide. So this will give us some information. Let's do something slightly different. Let's make that an underscore and then see what that does. See, that Maven issue I had was, now I like when I compile stuff, I gotta go back and forth between, I have one build rule for core and then a separate one for this one. I could like click two things. I just want to combine it into one. Which I guess there's another config where you just call a script. But that kind of defeats the purpose. I was hoping it would like do some intelligent lifecycle stuff and just be faster. That's interesting. Huh. Why do I not see underscores? There's underscores down here. Okay. I guess I should make that a constant. Yeah, that's another source of potential bugs in this thing. Outside of Canada, people think Canadians are like Swiss people, practically bilingual from day one. I guess our only, well, New Brunswick is the only, I think, officially bilingual province. Quebec is, I don't know if they have official recognition for English there or not, but they definitely let you know that they, French is their priority. Okay, that's what I was expecting to see. So now, interesting. I wonder if that could be a bug in my program. So do I think I have some weirdness with how characters are sent to yeah, I'll have to dig into that more. Okay, that's a bit of progress in understanding what's going on. All right, it's 23:20 2,300 hours. I'll probably call it a night. I got some other stuff I want to work on tonight. So we'll see how much I get done tomorrow. I'll probably, what's tomorrow, Monday? Yeah. You know, I'll probably stream tomorrow as well, at some point. Anyway, have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow, I guess. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for chatting on Unicode emojis. Yeah, no worries. If you want to learn, there's not a lot of resources on the I guess details of Unicode alignment for emoji and Unicode characters. But I have a couple of videos on that if you want to check through them. One is a terminal-based video game development, and there's a corresponding blog post that goes along with that. So anyway, thanks for the super chat. Have a good night.